They say driving a taxi at night in Lima is gambling with your life every single day. You leave home not knowing if you'll make it back, or if you'll end up as just another headline. I always thought the worst I could run into was a holdup, a gun to my head, until that night. The night I picked up a passenger who, according to everyone, had been dead for several days. My name is Carlos. I'm 38 years old, and I've been driving a taxi for over 10 years. I know Lima from end to end. San Isidro, downtown, San Juan de Lurigancho, Callao. Every district most people avoid once the sun goes down. I always felt safe because I knew which roads to stay off. But that night, I wasn't the one choosing the route. He was. It was a Thursday night, almost Friday. 2:30 in the morning. There was a light drizzle, that fine Lima garua that fogs up the windshield and turns the streetlights into smeared yellow shapes. I was about to close the app. I'd done my runs for the night and just wanted to get home. Then the last request came in. Pickup near Plaza San Martin. Destination: an old neighborhood in the Cercado near some rundown quintas that had always given me a bad feeling. I thought about rejecting it, but the fare was good, and it was the last one. Just one more, I told myself. When I arrived at the pickup point, the street was nearly empty. Businesses closed, a few lights out, 2 drunk men arguing on the corner. I checked my phone. Your passenger is waiting. But I didn't see anyone. I turned off the radio. The only sounds were the engine and the drizzle hitting the roof. Then I saw him. A man was standing directly under a streetlight about 10 meters away. I hadn't noticed him before because he was completely still, staring at nothing. Dark jacket, hood up, dark jeans, wet shoes. I flashed my headlights. He didn't react. I figured he was drunk. I rolled the window down a little. "Taxi," I called out. He turned his head toward me, slowly, like it took effort, and started walking to the car. When he got close, the first thing I noticed was his face. Not old, not young, mid-30s maybe, but something was off about his skin, too pale for someone who'd been standing in the rain. And his eyes looked exhausted, sunken, like someone who hadn't slept in days. He opened the back door and sat down without saying a word. "Good evening," I said, trying to sound normal. "Evening," he answered, a low voice, almost flat. I checked my phone. The passenger's name said Luis. "You're going to the address listed here?" I asked. "Yes," he said, looking out the window, "but I need to ask you something. Don't go by the main avenue. I want to go through the back streets." I didn't like that. The back streets at that hour were almost always a bad idea. "It's safer on the main road," I tried to explain. "Not tonight," he said, without looking at me. "Tonight, it's not safe." There was something in the way he said it. It didn't sound like a preference. It sounded like a warning. I started driving. As we moved, I noticed something else. The car was cold, very cold. You know how when someone gets in soaking wet, you can smell the street, the damp? He had no smell at all. No cologne, no sweat, no alcohol, nothing. I checked the rearview mirror. He was sitting completely upright, looking straight ahead, not leaning back, hands still. He wasn't even looking at his phone, something everyone does. Then he spoke. "You have 2 kids." My blood went cold. "Sorry?" I asked, pretending I hadn't heard him right. "Your kids, The older one. His name is Diego, right? I don't know how I didn't crash right then. My hands went wet on the steering wheel. Do I know you from somewhere? I said, trying to stay calm. No, he answered, but I know you. He started saying things no one should have known. He told me what school Diego goes to. He said my younger daughter's name, Valeria. He named the exact floor I live on. He described the peeling blue door of my building. He even mentioned the color of the bag my wife uses when she goes to the market. My name wasn't visible anywhere in the car. My app profile had a photo, yes, but no home address, no names of my children. Where did you get all that? I asked, my voice breaking. Let's just say I had time to look, he said. I wanted to end the ride right there, get back to a main road, pull into a gas station, and get him out. But when I tried to turn toward a more lit street, he spoke again. Don't go that way, he said. If you go that way, you don't make it home tonight. Something inside me broke. I don't know if it was fear, suggestion, or paranoia. All I know is I obeyed. Turning the wheel toward where he pointed felt inevitable. I forced a nervous laugh. Are you a cop or something? I asked. No, he said. But I know what happens on that avenue. At the corner, I glanced in the mirror. For a second, the lights of a patrol car reflected in the distance, down the exact route I'd been about to take. I don't know if it was a coincidence. I don't know if I imagined it. But I felt like I had just avoided something without knowing what. They rob taxis there, he said, as if reading my thoughts. 3 men get in, and you don't get back out. I had never said that out loud to anyone. I only thought it when my wife asked me to stop driving nights. We kept moving through streets that got emptier, narrower, older, crumbling houses, graffiti, rusted iron gates. Then I noticed something else. A smell, not the street, not garbage, not the rain. It was like wilted flowers mixed with something metallic, like someone had lit a candle in a room where something terrible had happened. I looked in the rearview mirror again. His eyes weren't just tired anymore. They were empty, like he was staring at something that wasn't inside the car. Are you all right? I asked. Don't worry about me, Carlos, he said. Worry about yourself and about Diego. We finally reached the area. Old houses, some abandoned, others with wooden doors swollen from years of humidity. The app showed the destination a few meters ahead. It's here, he said suddenly, before we reached the pin. I stopped next to a quinta with a dark green iron gate. He didn't move. Are you getting out? I asked. Silence. I turned slightly to look at him. The back seat was empty. I hadn't heard the door open. I hadn't felt any shift in weight. There was no sound, just me, and a cold that had settled deep into my bones. I sat there without moving for several seconds. I breathed. I told myself I was overtired, suggestible, seeing things. I looked at my phone to end a trip and saw something that made everything worse. The app showed the ride had been canceled by the passenger 2 minutes ago, and I had kept driving anyway. That night I got home, shaking. My wife looked at my face and knew something was wrong. I didn't tell her anything. I just said I was tired. I didn't sleep. I dreamed of the empty back seat, the door that never made a sound, that voice saying my children's names. The next morning, while I was having breakfast, my wife turned on the TV, the morning news, and there he was, same face, same jacket, same exhausted eyes. The headline read, "Taxi driver murdered in Cercado de Lima. Found inside his vehicle. No belongings." A few blocks from Plaza San Martin. The name under the photo, Luis. The same area where I'd picked him up, the same night. According to the report, he had been found dead 3 days earlier. 3 days. I couldn't breathe. My wife asked what was wrong. I told her I needed to go downstairs to the car. I ran down, opened the back door like I expected to find something. Nothing. But on the floor, between the carpet and the seat, I saw something I hadn't noticed before. An old, crumpled bus ticket with a printed date, 3 days earlier. The same date they said Luis had died. I picked it up with a shaking hand. It had no reason to be there. I had cleaned the car that same morning. That night, while I was driving, the app sent me another ride request. Pickup location, Plaza San Martin. I didn't accept it. And since that night, I have never worked past midnight again. I don't know exactly what got into my taxi that night, whether it was a reflection of my own fear, a spirit trapped in the last route it ever took, or something worse. What I do know is that because of him, I didn't take the avenue where another driver was robbed at that exact same hour. And every time I look in my rearview mirror and see the back seat empty, I can't stop asking myself, am I really alone? Or is someone still riding with me in silence, trying to make sure I don't end up like him? You decide what to believe. I only know what I lived.